All right, welcome to today's video, and I'm going to be talking about my NCLEX horror story because it truly is a horror story. Now, I did pass the NCLEX the first time, which I'm really happy about, but I passed at question 234 after 5.5 hours of test taking. And you heard that right, I passed the NCLEX after 5.5 hours and 234 questions. I didn't think it was possible, but I did it. And oh my God, it probably was one of the most traumatic things I've ever went through, but it turned out to be a good experience in the end because I learned a lot from it. And hopefully you can learn a lot from this as well. So let's start from the beginning. I took about like 2 to 3 months to study for the NCLEX. And that honestly is a lot longer than a lot of my friends were doing. Like they were taking maybe like 4 to 5 weeks. And I was like, nope, I'm gonna double that time just so I can guarantee that I'm gonna pass the first try because I don't wanna have to retake it and pay the fee and wait months ahead of time. I don't wanna do that. So when I study for the NCLEX, I use UWorld, I use the Saunders textbook, and I kinda use Mark Klimek. You can find his lectures online. He's really helpful. But mainly UWorld was my go-to, and I literally sat in a Panera Bread for months. I sat there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have literally tried everything on that menu because I was there for so long just using their Wi-Fi. I just can't study like at home by myself. Like I like being in public at a Starbucks or a library or a Panera Bread. And I sat there for months studying. I got my money's worth off UWorld because I used every single question in their bank. Every single question in their bank. I used every single one. I didn't leave one behind because I want to make sure that I covered everything and that there was going to be no surprises for me on the NCLEX. And boy, was that really stupid to do because I was still really shocked. I learned on the NCLEX that it doesn't matter how long you study or how much you study. It really matters just how well you study. My friends only study for about a month and I studied literally 3 times that and they did better than I did. And if I had to redo it over again, I would not have studied that long because I think overstudying is a real thing and I wasn't really focused on actually knowing the content. I was just focused on getting through it. And that kind of screwed me over. And I wish I made more of an effort to actually understanding the material instead of just going past it. I'm not saying that in my 3 months of studying that it didn't help me at all, but it could have been better, obviously. So it's the day of the NCLEX. It's me and my friend Rachel because we took it on the same day and we got there early to the site and we just basically sat in the coffee shop for like an hour just panicking and quizzing each other. And at the time, for my NCLEX at least, that you can pass in the first 75 questions and it will shut off and you're done. You're a nurse. That's it. I remember telling my friend that I'm gonna see you out here in 90 minutes. We're both gonna pass in the first 75 questions and we're gonna go celebrate. And boy, did I miss that deadline. I missed it. I flew right past it. So I remember taking the NCLEX and like the first 75 questions weren't that bad. It was a lot of cardiac and respiratory and neuro adults. It was honestly just like how I studied for UWorld. And I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. I got a select all to apply every now and then and they weren't that bad. And I got to question 75 and I was like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna turn this question in and we're gonna go home and celebrate. I hit next and it was question 76. And I could not tell you the way my stomach dropped like I was on a roller coaster when I hit question 76. And I was like, okay, Alex, don't panic, don't panic. People can pass in question 76, or they can pass in question 77, or 78, or maybe 80, the worst. And then I get to question 80, and then 90, and 100, and the panic started slowly setting in. And I think around question 150, that was like maybe 3 hours in, I think, I started crying. I literally started crying in the test taking center, and there was people all around me. There's cameras literally everywhere. And thank God at the time, you're allowed to take a bathroom break. So I went to the bathroom. I literally cried my eyes out in the bathroom because I was like, I'm not gonna pass the NCLEX right now. I'm gonna fail the NCLEX because I didn't have it. I couldn't do it. And I wiped my tears up and I said, you know what, Alex? No, you can still pass the NCLEX. And I remember getting told that as long as you're still getting questions for the NCLEX, you're still in the game. So as long as they're still giving you questions, you're still in it. There's still a chance. So I get back in there and I start answering more questions and it just got harder and harder and harder. Oh my God. I think the last like 150 questions, it was all OB, pediatric, psych, and a lot of like ethics and delegation stuff that I didn't really expect to be a big component of the NCLEX. You know, usually they spread it apart like cardiac, neuro, OB, pediatric, psych, respiratory, skin, and then go through that cycle. No, nope. It was like only OB, pediatrics, psych, and delegation. And I was just like, oh my god, oh my god. And to make it worse, it was all select all to apply, and it was just back to back those questions. And at a certain point, I was just answering and moving on. And I got to question 160, 180. And eventually I hit question 200, and I just started laughing because this is just hilarious. I didn't even know how many questions were on the NCLEX. Like, is this even allowed? Like, why hasn't my test shut off yet and just kicked me out of here? And at that point, at question 200, it's been about like 5 hours. 5 hours sitting in the same chair, clicking the same button, staring at the same screen. I distinctly remember how my eyes burned because I was staring at the screen for so long, and like the screen is not that far away from you. It's like up to your face because you're in this tiny little cubicle when you're taking your NCLEX because they want to examine you and make sure you're not cheating. And you're wearing these earphones that are like just digging into your ear and your head, and it's so uncomfortable. When you're 5.5 hours into a test, like your brain is not working anymore. Like even when I was studying for the NCLEX, I would take about like 20-minute breaks every hour or so just so I can reset my brain. But just having your brain just go, 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 go. You lose that steam around question 120, and then your brain just like, what's going on, man? What's going on here? I remember for the last 34 questions, I was just like, you know what? I failed the NCLEX. Whatever. It's gonna be embarrassing. I'm just gonna get through these last questions and just go home because I just can't do this right now because my brain is literally fried. I gave everything I had in the first 120 questions. I remember I got to question 233. I hit next. 234. I answered that question. Next. Blank. A test shuts off. I'm like, is that it? Did I pass? Did I fail? Like, I forgot what the cap was, but I didn't hit it. So my test shut off before I hit the max amount of questions. So it was really a toss-up if I failed it or did I just actually somehow do it and pass. And then I literally got up, I got my stuff from the locker, I got to my car, and I literally just called all my friends and family, and I was like, I just failed the NCLEX. And I literally called my friend Rachel and I was like, I just got out my exam, and she was like, what the F happened? I was waiting for you. And I just feel so bad for her because she was waiting for me to leave the test with her, but I just never showed up. I never showed up. I was in there for another 4 hours past her time. And oh my god, I just felt so bad. And the worst part is, you don't know if you passed the NCLEX until literally days later, so I'm just in a panic mode for days because I don't know if I should start scheduling for the next test. Do I re-up my subscription on UWorld and start studying more? Like, I didn't know what to do. Then literally on July 4th, I'm at my friend's house and I get my test scores. I check it and it says pass. And I literally started crying. I cried right there in that moment because I could not believe that I passed the NCLEX in 234 questions. Like, all my friends passed in the first 75 questions. We got about the same grades in nursing school, so we thought we were gonna do well, and about the same. But that wasn't the case because I was definitely a outlier for sure. And I hope you guys can learn from this because even if you don't pass in the first 75 or I think 65 questions it is now, it's okay. It's okay because as long as you're still going throughout the whole exam and they're still giving you questions, you're still in it, you can still win and you can still make it through. And if I can pass in 234 questions, people, you can pass in whatever amounts because I did it. I did it. And I didn't think it was possible at the time. And I thought that like if you went past 150 questions that you're just gonna fail. And let me say this too. If you don't pass the NCLEX in your first time, it's okay. It really is okay. I mean, it's easy for me to say that now, but I do know people, my close friends, who didn't pass the first time, and it sucked, but now they are amazing nurses, and they're traveling now across the country. Some are already in CRNA school, NP school. Like, it really won't make or break your entire career. It's okay. I have friends who literally tried 3 times, 4 times, and they're amazing nurses now, and it doesn't determine how good of a nurse you will be in the field. I do hope any of you guys who are about to take your NCLEX do pass in your first time, but even if you don't pass the first time, it's okay. And just learn from me. Don't overstudy. Don't try to learn every single thing. Just know the big picture and Definitely use Mark Klimek. I wish I used him more. He was a really good resource, and you can find his stuff online. It definitely is worth the price. And if I had to tell myself back then, I would say that leave the Panera, get out of there, like take some time to yourself, relax, go to the gym, spend time with friends and family. Like, yes, prioritize your studying, but you need to take care of your mental health, because I just didn't. I was like, screw my mental health. I'm gonna be studying in the Panera Bread for months, and I'm gonna get this done, and I'm gonna be on easy street. And I made it so much harder for myself. And guys, that's my whole story on how I passed in 234 questions on the NCLEX, and I hope you guys enjoyed this and you learned from this, and comment down below for any kind of questions you got and video ideas, because I would really love it. And thanks for watching, guys. I love you. See you in the next video.